Thank you. Thank you. Love you too. Although I don't know who you are, but that's okay. Thank you. Hello, Andrew. I know one person in the room. Thank you very much, and may I please extend a heartfelt appreciation to ACL for actually extending the invitation to me to come and speak with you, to just share with you a little bit, well, what I can share with you about the last 2 months in the New South Wales Parliament and within New South Wales State. So thank you for the introduction. That sort of sets the scene in relation to what the New South Wales Parliament and our community have just been through. I have 20 minutes, and I'm not sure if I will use all that time or I'll take it right to the nth degree, I'm not sure. But what I do want to do in this time is take you on a journey. I want to set the scene for you as to what was the case in July of this year, and give you as much background information that I can. Hope you appreciate that as a member of the current New South Wales Liberals and Nationals government, I can't tell you everything that went on, but I will certainly share with you what I can. I then want to explain to you why I took the stand that I did. I then want to share with you what I did to fight the bill, and then how I sustained myself personally through that 2-month journey, and then share a little bit about the future. So I believe there's a PowerPoint slide that will commence. Here we go. So what happened? July 28th, Sunday, it was announced that there would be brought to the New South Wales Parliament a bill to decriminalise abortion in New South Wales. It was said that New South Wales was the last state dragging the chain to actually decriminalise abortion. Every other state had done it. Why were we taking so long? 2 days later, back in Parliament, it was told to the party room that the plan was for the leadership of the government to hold the vote on that bill in our House, the Legislative Assembly, that Thursday. So less than 4 working days to actually get your head around a bill and then vote on it. It was an unknown bill to the majority of the members of Parliament that made up the government. And that was 4 months after we went to an election. But what became clear was that there were certain members within the government who were working on this bill behind closed doors without any knowledge of the rest of the team. In fact, they were working with opposition members to actually bring this bill to the House. There was no time to consider the details or the implications of this bill. There was no time to even consult with stakeholders such as ACL, such as Right to Life, such as the churches, and there was certainly no time to consult with our communities. And as a member of the Legislative Assembly, I'm accountable to my electorate, which is Mulgoa in Western Sydney. There was no time to talk with them about what they thought. In essence, it was an ambush. So, what in fact was announced? This is what was announced publicly. A bill to decriminalise abortion. We will take abortion law out of the Crimes Act of 1900. My goodness, it's 2019. What are we doing dragging our chain? This is a 119-year job that needs to be done. Like, we've waited over a century to do this simple task. The community are demanding action. The Common Law and the Crimes Act must be amended around what constitutes the legalities of abortion, and it must be in a piece of health legislation. For example, the permissible abortion regime is that for late-term abortion, you actually need to demonstrate that to continue with the pregnancy, it's actually going to put the mother's life or mental health or social life at great risk, greater risk than to continue the pregnancy. You need to demonstrate that. That was what the common law required. But what was actually proposed? What was the real agenda? And when you understood how abortion law works today, and when you read the bill, this in essence was what was proposed. A bill to legalise abortion for any reason, including future social reasons, at all stages up till birth, reduce protections for women, no conscientious objection for doctors, no protection against coercion for women, no protection for babies born alive, and on and on and on I could go. An absolute, complete stripping away of any boundaries around abortion. That was the real agenda. I had to take a stand because I knew that those proposing the bill were in fact deceiving the community, you, and the members of Parliament by their sales pitch, but what they're actually trying to do behind closed doors, underhandedly. And as it was introduced, someone has taken my steam because they read a little bit about my maiden speech. So based on my maiden speech, that's where a member of Parliament, newly elected, reveals who they are and the reasons why they've come to politics for that time. In my maiden speech, I said, it's a picture of my daughter at the time, 2011, and there she is, right down here with me. Wave, little Laura, there we go. This is what I said in my maiden speech, 16th of June 2011. To my delightful daughter, in everything I do, I strive to make your world a better place. I hope that when I'm finished in this place and ultimately finished on this earth, our community will be a better place for you and your generation to take up the reins and lead your community onwards and upwards. Let me say this now to you and all the children in our great state. You are unique and destined to be here at this time. You are designed and endowed with gifts and abilities. Do not give away your confidence, which has great reward. When you change your thinking, you can change your world. I said that at the time, and I meant it. Why did I have to take a stand? This is our little Harry. He's 3. My maiden speech continued on. I quoted Esther, and I won't say it all because Dan actually went through it, but let me finish off by how I finished off my maiden speech. I believe we have all come to this place for such a time as this, a time for stewardship, not squandering, a time for courage, not cowardice, a time for service, not selfishness, a time for visionary ambition, not indecision, a time for compassion, not coldness, a time for steadfast Christian values, a time to make New South Wales number 1 again. That was the framework for why I became a Member of Parliament. That set the framework for everything that I did as a Member of Parliament, and to further strengthen what was going on behind closed doors in my mind and in my heart were these 2 quotes. Silence in the face of evil is itself evil. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. And Dietrich Bonhoeffer actually lost his life in the concentration camp because of his strong, strong Christian values fighting Nazi Germany. And he was arguing at that time, Christians should not retreat from the world, but act within it. And again, all tyranny needs to gain a foothold is for people of good conscience to remain silent. I hope this is encouraging you today. I hope this is stirring up your spirit and your heart and your determination to stand in your sphere where God has placed you in this world. So I had to take a stand. I was not ashamed. What did I do? When I made a decision to take a stand, what did I do? I had a look at the external world. Okay, if I'm going to take a stand, I need to know what I'm talking about. I need to get data and evidence and reasons to justify why I was going to fight this bill. I looked at the evidence and data on abortion, and there's plenty of it. Victoria changed their abortion laws to what New South Wales was going to have. They changed it 10 years ago and collected their data. We can look at Victoria and look at their 10 years worth of data, and it is pretty awful when you actually begin to dig. I recognised in the outside world there would be a loud and aggressive and a bullying agenda directed at me to force me into silence. I knew that. I recognised it, so I was prepared for it. And I also knew that this abortion legislation was not going to be it. There was going to be more coming, an anti-life agenda, an anti-God agenda, euthanasia, gender wars, you name it. They're on their way. We had to fight. What was going on in my internal world throughout all of this? Well, I believe that God creates life. That's what I believe. I also knew and I know we have to fight for our Judeo-Christian values. We have to fight for them now. We can't take them for granted any longer. We are called to express our faith through love, respectful and dignified debate. Screaming, yelling, abusing will not convince people, will not help people keep their ears open, their minds open to your side of the argument. I knew I had to conduct myself extremely reservedly, considered, thoughtful and respectful, because this is a difficult debate and a challenging and a complex issue. How will they know us? The Bible asks. How will they know us? By our love. That's right. By our love. And also, I was bullied at school for 4 years in high school, and I was at a Christian school, believe it or not. You know, and before school, high school, I would beg God to stop what was going on, beg him. And I would read the Psalms, David's lamenting and begging God, you know, where are you? My enemies, they're after me, they want to kill me, they want to trap me. Where are you, God? Stand for me, fight for me. I would fill my mind with the Psalms, with David's language and pray. Most mornings, pray, God, help me today, help me today. Now I know why I went through that. Because I learnt at a very young age, I don't need another person beside me for me to feel accepted. I don't need that. It's nice to have, but in terms of who I am as a person, I don't need that. And I learnt that lesson back when I was a teenager. And so, I decided to stand for what I believed in and speak up and fight for what I believed in based on the evidence that I knew, this bill was going to be so destructive to our communities, not only our doctors, our midwives, but to the women who go through abortions. The evidence is overwhelming that many of them suffer mental health issues, substance abuse, issues with falling pregnant in the future sometimes becomes a complex result of this. The lies that the abortion industry tell our community are just that, they're lies. They say that abortion is the solution to your problem. Well, no, it actually creates more problems. I knew I had to stand and fight for what I believed in. And in discussing the potential implications of that stand with my husband back at the beginning of August this year, together, we made a 100% decision. No matter what was said to me, no matter who pressured me, no matter what threats were said to me about future pre-selections, or we're going to disendorse you as a Liberal at the next chance we get, you'll be out of politics. No matter what was going to be said to try and get me to sit back down and close my mouth, we made a 100% decision. We would pursue this with everything within us. So what were the options? I just need to pick up my pace a little bit. What were the options? We tried. Oh, that's me, by the way, in Parliament, arguing for amendments. We had to try and defeat the bill. That wasn't going to happen. We tried to actually get the bill put into a proper parliamentary process. That was rejected. What was accepted was a parliamentary inquiry that went for 5 days. When they announced a parliamentary inquiry into animal cruelty, that went for 5 months. So the last option was amend the bill. How do we do that? Well, we had to begin an awareness campaign, because at this stage, no one really knew what was in this bill. And all of a sudden, I'm thrust in the limelight. It was me. You type in my name, Tanya Davies, and there'll be pages and pages representing all of these agencies of me speaking and being quoted about this abortion bill. Went on and on and on. I had to let the community know what was going on, which led to activation. MPs like me, and you've seen some of them in the video, joined together, and we called ourselves the Resistance. We worked together, cross politics, people that felt the same way I did. We worked together, writing amendments, working with our team. The churches got activated. Organisations like Right to Life, rallies, protests, phone calls to local members, emails to local members, letter campaign to local members, all expressing the outrage of the community to the representatives of government. Because up until that time, no one in Parliament really knew what was planned. So awareness of what was planned and the activation led to pressure for change. I want to share with you my personal journey. I touched on it a little bit already. The preparation. How did I do what I did? I had no training for it, but how did I sustain myself through all of this? Well, I mentioned about being bullied at school and what that taught me. I read the Word. I reset my emotions and my thinking on the truth of God's Word. I listened to 2 songs by Hillsong United. Oceans. I don't know if any one of you, if you know it, but I would sing this song, take me, where my feet may fail, but you'll be with me. Well, now, was I going to live it, or was it just a nice song? No. I sang that song over and over in my head, and another, In the Fire was the other song I sang. God, I'm in a fire right now, but you are with me. I had the support of my husband. That's my husband. He has new glasses now. I made him change his glasses. They look too old on him. So now you've seen my whole family. And my perspective. I know that God holds the universe in his hands. So therefore, he holds me and you in his hand. I made sure my mind had the right perspective on the day-to-day fight that I was in. God knew what was going on, and I could trust and be at peace. People would come up to me and go, Tanya, how are you going? Are you okay? And I'm there, yeah, I'm great. I mean, I was on the phone at 9:30 last night doing a radio interview. I've got to do, type an op-ed for a newspaper tomorrow. All this busy. But in here, I was good. I was really, which the opposition couldn't figure out. Why isn't she stressed? Now you know why. During it, God gave me this extract from my devotional. That's my devotional at the moment. So in the end, the good will always outlast the evil. Therefore, persevere in the good, keep going in what is true, keep standing for what is right, and you will overcome and prevail in the end. I kept saying that to myself over and over and over again. And that same devotional had this verse, Isaiah 54:17. No weapon, because there may be weapons being planned and sharpened against me now in the future, but no weapon formed against you will prosper. None. Every tongue which rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. This is the heritage, and another version says, this is the benefits of the servants of the Lord. This is what the Lord says. Not what I say, but this is what the Lord says. And that sustained me. And lots of prayer. If any of you were praying during all of that, your prayers worked. They kept me peace and clear thinking during the arguments and the struggle. What does the future look like? And I've only got 3 more slides. Well, I don't know. Do you know your future? No, none of us do. And the older I get, the more I realise I'm really not in control of my future. But as believers, I'm following the one who does. And that's all that matters. And this is my final thought. This is what I want to leave with you today. That's a picture of eternity. And that right there is your life and my life. Tiny little dot. So, live for the line, not the dot. Thank you.